Hello there, race fans, and welcome to round 9 of season 7 of the Attrition Sim Race Campus Oval Series. Tonight, we are here in Brazelton, Georgia at the Lanier National Speedway, which is actually just across the street from Road Atlanta, for 101 laps of late model action here tonight. We're now officially about to be 3/4 of the way through the season, so the clock is ticking for these drivers to put their names down on the record book and get the last of the points settled in for this season. Of course, it being only a 12-week season like normal iRacing official sessions. Opened up back in 1982. This track comes in at 0.37 miles or zero point 0.6 kilometers in length. And it actually doesn't have a very big history in the national racing scene. It's held 5 Busch Grand National Series back in the 1980s, and it's had a single ARCA race. And aside from that, it's all been local grassroots type racing. So definitely right at home for these late model stock cars that are being driven here tonight. Of course, the Oval Series being one of 3 series hosted by the Attrition Sim Race Campus League. Before this, at 7 p.m. Eastern, they have the Attrition Road Series, which is a multi-class of MX5 and TCR cars. Then, of course, they have what we have now at 9 p.m. Eastern on Mondays, the Oval Series, which currently is 101 lap late model races. And then on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, they have the Dirt Series with the Pro Dirt late models. So, if any of those sound interesting to you, be sure to check out Attrition Sim Race Campus on the iRacing.com forums or on at ASRC Racing on Twitter or ASRCRacing.com to join the league. Anyone is welcome as long as you drive respectfully. So, of course, Road Series, Oval Series, Dirt Series, they have just about every discipline covered right about now except for Dirt Road. So, if any of those sound interesting to you, be sure to give them a look-see. That said, qualifying is just about in the books here. So how about we go down trackside and take a look at our starting lineup, presented by the Majors Garage and Sim Racer Hub. Starting out on the pole here tonight, hot off of a win last week at the USA International Speedway, is the number 21 of David Sluiter. To his outside in the number 9, who has finished on a podium every race he's attended this season, the number 9 of Anthony Nadell. Third place to 2022 Season 1 champion Benjamin Harst in the 09 machine, followed by Rob Haynes in the 25 for JL Audio to his outside. Fifth place for Limitless Esports driving the Hilton Hotels entry, Alex Light of the number 97, making his first start of the season in the Oval Series, but he is no rookie to Attrition as a whole. Sixth place to Brian Sabelski in the number 85, 3-time winner here in this season and 3-time champion of the Oval Series as a whole. Seventh place to Nico Morelli in the 14 for Morelli Motorsports. Eighth place to league admin Jason Gardner in the number 93. Ninth place to Koi Hasselu in the number 87, also 3-time winner this season. 10th place to Jason Mong in the number 70 entry. 11th place to Eric Gahn in the number 51. 12th place to Justin Carey in the 042 machine, who is also making his first start of the season, but is also not a rookie here to the Oval Series as a whole. Then finally, rounding out our field, In the 13th position is Bill Watkins of the number 7 machine. And finally, Brad Ringer in the number 4, rounding out the field here tonight. That said, looking at our timing and scoring sheet, it looks like Justin Carey, Bill Watkins, and Brad Ringer may have not made the call to the grid, so this might just be an 11-car field, in which case Eric Gahn in the 51 will be rounding us out. But that said, the pace truck just about to pull off, and we are going green flag racing here at Lanier National Raceway. Off to a solid start, a little bit of contact right off the get-go by Anthony Nadell in that number 9, trying to see if he can't get his way down to the inside line here early. This definitely is one of the tighter tracks here on the schedule, and the outside line very much not where you want to be, especially in these trouble. Looks like Nadell went around. Heavy damage for that number 9 car, but we are going to keep it clean. He managed to keep it going forward, but definitely some very heavy damage early on for the number 9 machine of Anthony Nadell. Started in the 2nd position, all the way back down to 9th now in that number 9 machine, and it looks like he's having a bit of steering difficulty as well, which does not surprise me. That is very heavy damage on that number 9 machine, so we will have to keep an eye on him. His night is not over yet, but who knows what that damage is going to do to this driver's race. Further up in the field, currently our closest battle on the speedway between Jason Gardner in the 93, Nico Morelli, and Brian Sabelski. These 3 drivers, all veterans to Attrition Sim Race Campus. All 3 of them have been a part of the league since before I joined it, which was in December of 2020, so all of these drivers are at least 2-year veterans to the league. The Oval Series hasn't actually even been around for 2 years yet, but these drivers have been a part of a community for a long time. Further up in the field, Coy Hasalu and Alex Light were side by side for just a second there. It does look like Coy managed to make the pass on Alex Light in that number 97 machine. Hasalu very late to the speedway here tonight. He joined the session with about 3 minutes left before the green flag, so he did not get much time to practice, but knowing the speed that this driver possesses, it does not surprise me that now that he's gotten into the groove of things, he's starting to carve his way through the field. Currently the most improved driver on the speedway here tonight in terms of position, having started all the way back in 9th, and now he just executed the pass for 3rd. So this driver's up 6 positions in the first 12 laps of the race, and already gaining time on the 09 of Benjamin Hurst. So Coy Hasalu, definitely a driver to watch out for. He's been putting on very dominant runs ever since he joined Attrition Sim Race Campus earlier this season, and every race he's put together has been an incredibly solid one. And of course, that is why we have seen him in victory lane 3 times in the past 5 races. A little bit further back, Brian Sabelski, hot on the heels of Alexander Light, going to dive down low and make the pass going into turn 1. Alexander Light stuck up to the high side in that number 97 Limitless Racing entry. Alexander Light has also been a member of Attrition for a while now. He's been all the way here since, I believe, Season 2 of the Oval Series, back when we raced street stocks rather than late models. And he always makes an attempt to show up when he can, and it's always great to see the driver of that 97 out here tonight, and hopefully we will see him for a couple of more races this season before we crown our champion. Speaking of champion, the driver he's battling with right now, the number 85 NTO entry of Brian Sabelski, three-time champion in the ASRC Oval Series, has 3 race wins under his belt so far this season, and is currently holding on to this season's point championship by a pretty solid margin. We do have 4 drop weeks here in the Attrition Oval Series that will level out the points a little bit, but there's still a pretty solid gap even after 2 of our 4 drop weeks have been calculated between himself and the second place driver on the championship standings of Jason Gardner back there in that number 3 Raybestos entry. Jason currently looking to try and get around Alex Light for the 6th position, up 1 spot in that Raybestos Breaks entry. Jason has been having a pretty solid season for himself. He's not gotten the checkered flag here yet, but he is 2nd place in the standings, and there's still a couple of more opportunities for him to... Oh, trouble. Caution flag is out. A spin for Anthony Nadell, it looks like. I think maybe the damage on that number 9 entry finally got the best of him, and he just had the car break out from under him through the corner. Let's see if we can't take a quick look like and see what happened to that number 9 machine of Anthony Nadell. You can see it here already. Looks like the car just snapped out from under him. He tried his best to get it going, but he crossed the speed threshold for the iRacing automatic cautions to determine that he had wrecked. So our first caution of the night here for that number 9 entry. Not a whole lot he could do. The car just completely snapped out from under him, and with the pretty hefty amount of damage that is on that number 9 machine, it doesn't surprise me that it happened sooner or later. Looks like he is going to be taking that number 9 down to pit lane. I don't know if he's going to be calling it quits here tonight, or if he's going to look and see what of that damage he can get repaired. We do have another 60 laps to go, a little bit over 60 actually, before the end of this race, so we will have to see if the number 9 machine tries to get back out on the speedway here tonight. Back up in the front though, the lights are off on the iRacing.com pace truck. We do have them lined up 2 by 2 again. David Sluiter on the inside line, Benjamin Harst on the outside. We are going green flag racing here again at the Lanier National Speedway. A bit of a slow start for the outside line there. Looks like there might have been a little bit of hesitation for Hasselu getting on the gas there in that number 87 machine. But everyone is going to manage the restart fairly well. Hasselu making the pass on Harst for P2. Hasselu now up 7 positions from where he qualified in just 30 laps. And now he has his sights set on our race leader of Sluiter. A little bit of trouble back in the back there. Rob Haynes getting shoved up to the high line. Not a whole lot he's able to do here. Once you get pushed up to that outside line, it is very difficult to get back down to the preferred racing line when there are cars freight training past you on the inside line. So that did filter Rob Haynes back a couple of positions in that number 25 JL Audio entry, but still plenty of time left for him to get some positions back. We've officially crossed the 1/3 of the way through the race threshold, so about 67 laps to go. That sounds about right. They hired me to talk, not do math. And actually, we are currently looking at the closest battle on the speedway between the number 25, the number 97, and the number 14, battling out for the 6th and 7th positions. Nico Morelli having a fairly decent run tonight in that number 14 machine. He has been having a bit of a mixed season so far. But if one thing's for sure, the driver of that number 14 Justin Wilson Memorial Paint is he is very determined. He has a lot of tenacity, and he is someone who does not give up in spite of ridiculous odds. He's been involved in some pretty hefty crashes throughout the season, and a lot of them aren't his fault. And regardless of that, he still has been doing everything he can to bring the number 14 entry to the checkered flag one way or another. Even if it is pretty severely damaged, he never calls it quits early. He always commits to the very end of the race, and currently back in the 8th position, so one spot down from where he qualified, but this driver is definitely not going to be giving up this race. Further up in the front, David Sluiter in that number 21 Moonlight Speed entry, currently sailing away with a 1.3 second lead and growing every passing lap. David Sluiter is a Twitch streamer, so if you want to go see his perspective of this race, be sure to go check out twitch.tv/racingwithdave. He's been putting on some very impressive runs the past couple of races, and this one definitely no different. Now at a 1.4 second gap, make that a 1.5 second gap now. He is absolutely sailing away from the competition, and I would not be surprised if caution is going to be what's required for some of these drivers to catch back up to him in that number 21 Moonlight Speed entry. Just behind him, Koi Hasselu in the number 87 Hasselu Racing entry. Koi up 7 positions already, and still looking to try and gain on our leader. Currently, both P1 and P2 have won a race this season, and while P3 has not won a race this season, that 09 of Benjamin Harst, he has won a championship in the Oval Series in the past, so it's no surprise to see Harst in that 09 machine battling up in the podium. Following behind him, 4th place to Brian Sabelski, also having several wins notched under his belt in the Oval Series. So definitely some stiff competition. Very talented drivers battling it out in our top 4 spots right now. Further back in the back, looks like Rob Haynes looking to try and make some moves on the 97 entry. Rob in that number 25 black and neon green JL Audio entry. He is also a Twitch streamer, so be sure to go check him out at Rob Haynes 52. And as well, Brian Savelski, our 3-time winner and several-time champion in the number 85. Also a streamer at twitch.tv/Nihon Tiger, so definitely be sure to go give support to all of the drivers of the ASRC Oval Series. Ultimately, these folks are the people making these broadcasts possible, because if there wasn't any racing to broadcast, then I wouldn't be able to be here doing these broadcasts here for you every Monday night at 10 Eastern. We're now officially past the halfway point though, and while the leaders are kind of sailing away a bit here, things are getting very heated here in the mid-pack. Big slide for Jason Gardner. Bit of a check up for Jason Mong in the number 70 machine, having to avoid spinning Haynes even further there. Looks like the track is getting fairly slick for these drivers, and it does look like there's a little bit of damage on the 97 machine actually. It does look like Alexander Light might have had a bit of contact with the wall. You can see the sheet metal bent up around the right front tire of that number 97 Hilton Hotels entry. That said, even with the damage, it looks like he is holding on pretty strong. His last lap identical to Rob Haynes behind him and Jason Gardner in front of him, so it looks like that driver, or that damage, is not affecting the driver of that 97 machine very much at all. Jason Gardner in the number 93 Rebestis Brakes entry also starting to make up a little bit of ground and catch up to that number 85 NTO entry. This is a track that Jason has been pretty good at in the past, so not a very big surprise to me to see the number 93 competing for a top 5 finish, and it does look like he is gaining on Brian Sabelski, so he might even be looking to make that a 4th or maybe even a podium, depending on how these next 40 laps of racing go. If we keep it green all the way to the end, tire management might come into play a little bit here. The tires do wear off fairly quickly on these late model stock cars. Admittedly, it's not as bad at night when the track is cooled down a bit, but definitely the right front is something you're going to have to watch out for, and the several drivers around the field that have right front damage from scraping the wall might be having a bit of extra difficulty with that as this race progresses. That said, looking down the timing pylon, everyone except for our 2 race leaders are setting pretty similar lap times, and then there's almost a 0.2 of a second difference between the lap times David Sluiter and Coy Hasselou are setting from the rest of the field. Sluiter last time by set a 14.55 and Hasselou a 14.56. Following that, it looks like the entire rest of the field is setting roughly in the 14.75 area. So definitely a considerable difference in speed between Sluiter and Hasselou and the rest of the field. So I don't think lap traffic will be an issue because we are so late into this race already, but something to keep an eye out for, especially as we get further in and the tires wear down further. Currently the closest battle on the speedway here between Jason Mong and Rob Haynes. Jason in that number 70 machine. Jason actually is currently 7th place overall on the standings for this season, so he may be back in the bottom half of the field right now, but he actually has not been doing very bad overall. And that's something I think always tends to come to surprise. Oh, trouble. No caution it looks like, but the number 9 of Anthony Nadell just went around. We are surprisingly keeping it. There we go, there's the caution. I was going to be a little bit concerned if we didn't get a caution for that one. Another spin for the number 9 entry of Anthony Nadell. Still very heavy damage on that number 9 entry. He did pit in for about a minute and a half, so it does look like he took some repairs on that number 9 machine, but it may have not been enough to get it back in race-ready condition. Let's go take a look back and see what happened to the number 9 of Anthony Nadell here. Nadell in that white and green number 9. A little bit of scrape on the front stretch, drives it into turn 1, and the rear end just spun out from under him. Not a whole lot you can do with a car that's that damaged when it starts to snap out on you like that. A little bit of scrape on the wall there, and then just sent it in too hard for that damaged car to handle, and it just spun out on him. So very unfortunate for the driver of that number 9 machine. Up until this point, Nadell has gotten on the podium in every race he's participated in the Oval Series. And I would imagine that's a bit of a bittersweet experience, because on the one hand, you're doing an amazing job, but at the same time, 3 second place finishes definitely might be a little bit painful when you're striving to get the win. That said, interesting enough, some of our drivers looks like have opted to maybe take tires. Haynes, Light, Morelli all a lap down, and these drivers don't have any damages, so I think they all pit and look to try and take a 4-tire strategy. That said, the pace car is off. We are going green flag racing here again. We will have to see if whatever strategy these bottom 7 drivers are trying are going to work out for them. Benjamin Harst, though, our new race leader. Sluiter in second place, followed closely behind by Sabelski, Hasselou, and Mong. Drivers we have not seen, for the most part, in the top 5 tonight. Sluiter going to make the pass on that 09 of Benjamin Harst as he got pushed up to the high side a little bit, and it does look like Koi Hasselou going to make the pass as well. A little bit of a slide through the corner for Benjamin Harst, so back to the same top 2 we had before that pit cycle, but the rest of the field fairly jumbled up. Benjamin Harst in 3rd place, so he actually is where he qualified earlier in the race here tonight in that number 09 machine. Followed by Brian Sabelski and Jason Mong. Does look like Jason is going to get pushed up to the high side though. That said, he is still on the lead lap, and the drivers passing around him aren't. Actually, Jason Gardner in that number 93 is on the lead lap, so that pass between the 2 Jasons was a pass for position, but the 97 and 14 machines of Light and Morelli, they both are not on the lead lap. However, they are battling for position with each other, so these 2 side by side are duking it out for the 8th position right now. Alexander Light, however, going to get pushed to the high line just a bit, allowing the lead lap cars to get back around him, so that's definitely going to put a bit of a damper on his battle with Nico Morelli in that number 14 machine. Now about a 1.5 second gap between these 2 drivers from the leaders getting around them. Rob Haynes, however, right on the tail of Jason Mong, it looks like. Oh no, my mistake. Haynes is a lap down, so he's currently battling for position with Nico Morelli in that number 14 machine. I was a little bit confused there because Mong is very obviously not in the picture here. But Rob Haynes, Nico Morelli, both drivers battling for the 7th position and also battling for the lucky dog spot should we have another caution in these next 13 laps. Nico Morelli gonna try and look high. Not much success for him there. The high line generally not working out on a lot of these short tracks, but sometimes you have to try just about anything to make a position here. That said, the caution flag is out yet again. Rob Haynes successfully defended the position from Nico Morelli, so Rob Haynes will get the lucky dog position from this caution. That said, the truck is telling us that our lucky yellow flag causer was Alex Light. So let's take a look back and see if we can't figure out what happened to bring out the 3rd caution of the evening. Oh, a big wiggle for the driver of that 97 machine, and sent him not necessarily spinning, but definitely not the correct direction up into that outside wall. Not too bad of an impact, it doesn't look like, but definitely not what that number 97 entry wanted to be happening, especially with 13 laps left in the race. So that is going to bring out caution number 3 here tonight. When the pace truck leaves, I believe we will be at 7 laps to go. So we're definitely going to be having a bit of a late race shootout here tonight. Going to have to keep a close eye on these drivers. Sabelski did elect to pit on this caution, so it looks like he probably took 2 tires, if I'm reading this correctly, which will cycle him back to the 6th position as the second to last car on the lead lap. So definitely going to have to keep an eye on that number 85 machine and see if sacrificing all those positions for tires is going to pay off for him here. The lights are off on the iRacing.com pace truck. We will be going green flag racing here. 6 laps left to go here at the Lanier Speedway, and we are off. A little bit of a jumbled restart, but Coy Haslu manages to dive it down to the inside right on the restart and secure that second position for himself. Benjamin Harst going to have a bit of work to do if he wants to catch up to these 2 drivers. Side by side just behind them, the 85 of Brian Sabelski trying to get past Jason Mong and Jason Gardner on those new tires of his. It definitely looks like he has a pretty impressive speed advantage in that number 85 machine. Trouble! Brian Sabelski is around. The caution flag is out yet again. I hope you all are liking what you're seeing, race fans, because we are officially going into overtime here tonight. Definitely not what Brian Sabelski wanted to see, especially after that massive gamble on pit strategy. But thankfully it does not look like there's much damage to that number 85 NTO entry, so let's take a quick look back and see if we can't see what happened to the 85 of Brian Sabelski in that black and white NTO entry. Looks like maybe Brian got a little loose off the corner and made contact with Jason Mong. I'm not too sure on that one, but I think I saw a little bit of left turn out of that 85 down on the straightaway. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened there, but little bit of trouble for that number 85 entry. I think he might have overcorrected a little bit trying to not get into Jason. At the same time, the other Jason drifted up a little bit. Both drivers making contact on the back straightaway. Brian Sabelski not going to lose any positions from that though, as all drivers behind him were down a lap. Nico Morelli got the lucky dog on that caution, so Nico now the last car on the lead lap. 7 drivers in contention for this final restart. Coy Haslu, David Sluiter, 2 laps to go. We're off yet again here at Lanier for the final time. Big cluster back in the middle of the field. I was almost certain that Rob was going to get turned there, but everyone kept it sorted. That said, the white flag is out. Haslu off with a pretty solid lead. Very close battles all over the field here tonight. Haslu is going to take the checkered flag, followed by many drivers 2 by 2 crossing the finish line. I'll tell you what, race fans, that was a nail biter of a finish, but it does look like the 87 of Koi Haselu is going to pick up his 4th win here in the ASRC Oval Series Season 7. No burnout out of that number 87 machine. Let's see if we can't dial him up and have a bit of an interview with our race leader. And dialing him up now. Let's see if we can get a couple words in with him. Also going to be dialing up our second place finisher of David Sluiter and finally Benjamin Harst. If we manage to get them to pick up. Currently dialing up our race winner here. We will see if we manage to hear from him or not in that number 87 Haslu Racing machine. We will give him just a few moments. If he doesn't show up, we will at least hear from our second place finisher, so we do at least have someone willing to give us a chat. If he's not here in the next minute or so, we'll go ahead and talk to David and see if anyone else shows up. And then our third place finisher was Benjamin Harst, so I also need to dial him up and see if he wants to chat. He's here. Welcome, Mr. 4-time race winner. You pulled it off yet again. How you
Yeah, tonight
feeling?
was tonight was a little bit different compared to other nights. I qualified really bad. Messed up all three of my laps, which is yikes. I didn't think I had anything for Dave there at all. I knew he was really strong this week. I raced an official race this week with him, and I don't know. He that towards the end there, heat cycles with tires are weird in these cars, and got him off on the crossover and off of two. But I really wish it would have went green there because I think me and him would have had a good side by side finish there.
Yeah, you two were both putting up a heck of a run all race. I was keeping tabs on your lap times, and the two of you were about 2/10 of a second faster than the rest of the field every lap. So you both seem to know what you're doing one way or another.
Yeah, after we took tires there with like what was it, 25 to go, I think we ran like the same exact lap times basically for I don't know, 10, 15 laps. So
Yeah,
we've always said that we basically are the same speed in late models and we always have been for like 2 years now.
well, it certainly puts on some very great racing. Is there anyone you would like to thank for getting this number 87 machine here in the victory lane for the 4th time this season?
Of course, you for broadcasting. I think broadcast add a lot to league races. The league for putting it on, obviously. If it wasn't for them, we would have had a race. And Dave for inviting me to the league back in week two or whatever it was.
Yeah, it's great to have you, and I look forward to seeing you race in the future. Is there
Thank
anything
you.
else you want to say before I kick you out of the office?
Nope, that's it. Have a good night.
You too. All right, Mr. David, second place finisher. You were looking very good for a lot of this race. I think the cautions definitely messed things up for you. How are you feeling after that?
Oh no, that was a very fun race in my opinion. Like Coy said, if that race would have went green and we didn't get that last caution, I had a feeling that was going to be a really good, exciting finish.
Even with the caution, honestly, y'all had me at the edge of my seat. I did not see a lot of what happened this race coming, so kudos to both of you for putting on a great show, and thanks, of course, for taking the time to come out here every week and compete. It's always great to see y'all.
Yeah, we have a blast with this league. It's really laid back, fun to run. It's in our favorite oval car on the sim too, so that's always an added bonus.
Yeah. Is there anyone you would like to thank for getting this number 21 machine in the podium position here tonight?
Thank you for broadcasting. Um, it's always nice to have a league that does the broadcasts, and thanks to the league for putting this on. Like I said, I'm having a lot of fun with this, and I hope to continue doing it for a while.
I look forward to having you. Is there anything else you'd like to say before you get kicked out too?
No, thanks. I'm all good, and we'll see you next week at New Smyrna.
I don't think next week is New Smyrna. I'm pretty sure it's Concord, but I'll see you next
Oh,
week.
they're not. Yep, we're not going to New Smyrna. I forgot.
Sorry to break the news to you here.
No worries. You have a good night.
You too. And finally, rounding out our podium here tonight, Mr. iRacing.com car himself, Benjamin Harst. How you feeling after that?
Oh, good. That was a fun race.
Yeah, it's great to see you out here again after you got the championship, I want to say 2 seasons ago, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I've missed most of the season, so it's fun to get back in the car. And I thought maybe before that green-white checker, there could be some fireworks and I could get up there. But with those old tires, well, I couldn't keep up anyways. But then once I had the old tires, there was no hope.
Yeah, that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes, but you still put on a very great run here tonight. And of course, it's always great being able to see you compete out here.
Yeah, I enjoyed being able to do it. I enjoy running in this league. It's usually good, clean racing and fun.
Yeah. Is there anyone you'd like to thank for getting this '09 machine up into the podium here tonight?
Just want to thank you for broadcasting it and doing the interview, and thanks to the league. I enjoy being able to do this every week, and it wouldn't be possible without ASRC. So appreciate that.
Well, it's a pleasure having you out here. The floor is yours, though. Is there anything else you'd like to say before you get set into the void?
That's it. Just a fun race, and if I'm able to, I look forward to Concord next week. It's my favorite short track.
Good deal. I look forward to seeing you if you're able to make it.
Thank you.
Well, you heard it here first, race fans. Your top 3 finishers here tonight. Coy Hasselou picking up his 4th win of the season, followed by David Sluiter and Benjamin Harst, rounding out your podium. That said, though, let's go and take a quick look at our official race results here tonight following our 105 lap late model event. Of course, our winner here tonight in the number 87 Hasselou Racing entry of Coy Hasselou getting the win. Following him for the Moonlight Speed Racing, David Sluiter in the number 21. Third place to one of our former champions here in the Oval Series, Benjamin Harst in the '09 machine, followed by Jason Mong in the number 70. Fifth place to Brian Sabelski in the number 85, unfortunately involved in that final caution of the race. Sixth to Jason Gardner in the number 93, one of our admins here at the Attrition Sim Race Campus League. Seventh place to Nico Morelli for Morelli Motorsports in the number 14 machine. Eighth place to Rob Haynes in the 25 JL Audio entry. Ninth place to Anthony Nadell in the number 9. 10th place to Alex Light in the number 97 Limitless Esports entry, making his first start of the season. 11th place to Eric Gahn in the 51st And then rounding out our field, the 3 drivers who unfortunately were not able to make the grid here tonight: Justin Carey, Bill Watkins, and Brad Ringer. That said, that's about all we got for y'all here tonight at the Lanier Raceway. Be sure to tune in next week, same day, same time, Monday at 10 p.m. Eastern, for our 10th round of the Attrition Sim Race Campus Oval Series at the Concord Speedway. We'll be taking it to a tri-oval next week, so definitely be sure to tune in for that and see these late model drivers try and conquer a track that has 3 turns instead of 4. Very spooky. But I've been your host, Dicey Otter. Thank you all for coming out, and I will see you all next week, race fans. Have a good evening.